For 3 years they hunted a ghost. 27 American soldiers dead. Not from IEDs. Not from mortars. From a single sniper. They called him the Phantom. They searched every rooftop, every building, every hiding spot in Ramadi. They never found him. Because he was already inside their own base. Working in the chow hall. Smiling. Serving food. Waiting. Ramadi, Iraq. 2006. Forward Operating Base Eagle sat in the heart of the most dangerous city in the country. Sergeant Mike Torres had been there for 8 months. 8 months of patrols, firefights, and watching his friends die. But the sniper kills were different. They weren't random. They were surgical. Personal. Torres remembered the first one. Lance Corporal Danny Price. 23 years old. Kid from Ohio who wanted to be a teacher. They were heading back from patrol, almost at the gate. Price was talking about his girlfriend back home. Then his head snapped back. One shot. Clean through the temple. By the time they dragged him behind cover, he was gone. The shot came from somewhere north. Maybe a rooftop. Maybe a window. They never found the firing position. 2 weeks later it happened again. Corporal James Rodriguez. Different location, same precision. Shot through the neck at 400 meters. The bullet came from the east this time. They locked down the entire sector. Searched every building. Found nothing. No shell casings. No witnesses. Just another dead Marine and a city full of silence. By month 3 the pattern was clear. Someone was hunting them. Not random insurgents taking potshots. A professional. A trained sniper who knew exactly what he was doing. Military intelligence got involved. They analyzed every kill. Every angle. Every time of day. They brought in Marine scout snipers to run counter-operations. They set up observation posts. They changed patrol routes. Nothing worked. The Phantom always knew where they'd be. Captain Sarah Mitchell ran the intelligence unit. She spread 27 red dots across a map of Ramadi. That was a kill. She stared at that map for hours every day looking for the pattern. He's not moving, she told Torres one night. Look at the radius. Every single kill is within 800 meters of this base. He's not running around the city. He's staying in one area. Torres leaned over the map. She was right. The kills formed a perfect circle around FOB Eagle. So he lives nearby, Torres said. Mitchell shook her head. Or he works here. The translator had been on base for 2 years. His name was Rashid al-Maliki. 42 years old. Former Iraqi army officer before the invasion. He spoke perfect English with a slight British accent. Everyone liked him. He was friendly, always smiling, always helpful. He ate in the chow hall with the soldiers. He joked with them. He asked about their families. He was just there. Part of the furniture. Nobody really noticed him anymore. Torres noticed him because of the coffee. It was stupid. Small. But it bothered him. Every morning Rashid got his coffee at exactly 0600. Same time. Same seat. Same routine. Torres had insomnia, so he was always up early. He'd watch Rashid sit there, reading an old newspaper, sipping his coffee. Nothing suspicious. Just a middle-aged translator starting his day. But one morning Torres realized something. The newspaper was always 3 days old. Always exactly 3 days. Every single time. He didn't mention it to anyone. Not yet. It was probably nothing. But Torres started paying attention. He noticed other things. Small things. Rashid always volunteered to translate for patrol briefings. He always knew which units were going out. Which routes they'd take. What time they'd leave. That was his job. Of course he knew those things. But there was something else. After every briefing Rashid would excuse himself. Bathroom break. Every time. Like clockwork. Torres followed him once. Rashid didn't go to the bathroom. He went to the motor pool. He'd walk past the vehicles casual like he was stretching his legs. But his eyes were moving. Counting. Checking which Humvees had fuel. Which ones were being prepped. Torres watched from a distance. Rashid pulled out a small notebook. Wrote something down. Put it back in his pocket. Then he walked back to the office like nothing happened. That night, Torres went to Captain Mitchell. I think the translator is the sniper. Mitchell looked at him like he'd lost his mind. Rashid? Mike, the guy's 42 years old. He's been vetted. He's been here for 2 years. He's never left the base. Torres laid out everything. The coffee. The newspaper. The motor pool. The notebook. Mitchell listened. When he finished, she was quiet for a long time. Do you know what you're saying? If you're wrong, this ends your career. If you're right. She didn't finish the sentence. I need proof, Torres said. Let me get proof. Getting proof meant getting close. Torres started eating breakfast with Rashid. Started asking him questions. About his life. His family. His time in the Iraqi army. Rashid was charming. Smart. He told stories about Baghdad before the war. About his wife who died in the invasion. His daughter who moved to Jordan. He seemed genuine. But there was something in his eyes. Something cold underneath the smile. Like he was always calculating. Always watching. 3 days later, another Marine died. Private First Class Kevin Walsh. Shot during a patrol changeover at 0730. The bullet came from 600 meters out. Northwest sector. Torres was in the Tactical Operations Center when the call came in. He looked across the room. Rashid was at his desk. Reading his 3-day-old newspaper. He glanced up when the radio crackled with the casualty report. Just for a second. Torres saw it. The smallest smile. Not happy. Not sad. Satisfied. Like a craftsman admiring his work. Torres went to Mitchell immediately. It's him. I saw it. Mitchell pulled up Rashid's file. According to this, he was an administrative officer. Logistics. He never saw combat. Torres shook his head. Pull his military records from the Iraqi National Archives. The real ones. Not the ones he gave us when he applied. It took 48 hours. When the records came back, everything changed. Rashid al-Maliki wasn't a logistics officer. He was a Republican Guard sniper. Trained in Belarus in 1991. Confirmed kills during the Iran-Iraq War, 43. During Desert Storm, 12. After the 2003 invasion, he disappeared. Everyone assumed he fled to Syria. But he didn't flee. He waited. He planned. And when the Americans set up FOB Eagle, he applied for a job. He'd been inside for 2 years. Learning their patterns. Their routines. Their weaknesses. And when the time was right, he started killing them. One by one. Mitchell called a meeting with the base commander, Colonel James Harper. They couldn't just arrest him. If Rashid suspected anything, he'd disappear into Ramadi and they'd never find him. They needed to catch him in the act. Needed proof that would hold up. He hasn't left the base in 2 years, Harper said. How is he taking the shots? Torres pulled out a map. The kills happen during shift changes. When the guard towers are switching out. There's a 6-minute window when the northwest tower is unmanned. He could slip out, take the shot, slip back in. Nobody would notice. They set up a trap. The next morning they announced a patrol. Standard route. Standard time. But Torres and Mitchell would be watching the northwest perimeter. Watching Rashid. If he moved, they'd follow. If he didn't, Torres was wrong. At 0600, Rashid got his coffee. Read his newspaper. At 0615, the patrol briefing started. Rashid translated. Took his notes. At 0645, the patrol headed out. Rashid excused himself. Bathroom break. Torres followed at a distance. Rashid didn't go to the bathroom. He walked toward the northwest corner of the base. Casual. Unhurried. He stopped at a maintenance shed. Looked around. Opened the door. Disappeared inside. Torres waited 2 minutes. Then he moved to the shed. Opened the door slowly. The shed was empty. But there was a hole in the floor. A tunnel. Dug by hand over months. Maybe years. Leading under the perimeter wall. Torres keyed his radio. Mitchell. I got him. Northwest maintenance shed. There's a tunnel. The tunnel came up in an abandoned building 300 meters outside the wire. Torres and a 4-man team cleared the building room by room. They found him on the 3rd floor. Rashid al-Maliki. Lying prone behind a window. Dragunov SVD sniper rifle. Scope trained on the patrol below. His finger was on the trigger. Don't move, Torres said. Rashid didn't move. Didn't turn around. Just spoke calmly in that British accent. Sergeant Torres. I wondered when you would figure it out. Torres kept his rifle trained on him. Put the weapon down. Slowly. Rashid lowered the rifle. Placed it on the floor. Turned around. He was smiling. That same friendly smile. You're a smart man, Sergeant. Smarter than the others. Torres felt his hand tighten on the grip. What? Why did you do this? Rashid's smile faded. You came to my country. You destroyed everything. My wife died in your airstrike. My daughter lost everything. You think I would just forget? Just forgive? He stood up slowly, hands raised. I am a soldier, Sergeant. Just like you. I did my duty. Your duty was killing Marines who had nothing to do with your family. Rashid shook his head. My duty was defending my country. You call me a terrorist. I call myself a patriot. We are the same, you and I. We both kill for our beliefs. Torres felt sick. We're nothing alike. Rashid laughed. No? You followed orders. I followed orders. You killed my countrymen. I killed yours. The only difference is you won. So you get to call me the villain. The team secured Rashid. They found the tunnel. They found 27 shell casings buried in a bag in the shed. Each one marked with a date. He'd kept trophies. Evidence of every kill. In his notebook they found detailed patrol schedules. Guard rotations. Names of officers. Everything he'd learned over 2 years. He'd been patient. Methodical. He'd played the long game. And he almost won. At the base, Colonel Harper held a formation. Every soldier on FOB Eagle stood at attention. Rashid was in handcuffs, surrounded by guards. Harper's voice was hard. This man worked among us, ate with us, smiled at us, and killed 27 of our brothers. He will face justice. But let his presence remind us, trust is earned. Vigilance is constant. We cannot let our guard down. Not here. Not ever. Torres watched as they led Rashid away. The translator looked back once. Made eye contact. Nodded slightly. Like a chess player acknowledging a good move. Torres didn't nod back. He thought about Danny Price. About James Rodriguez. About Kevin Walsh. About 24 others who never got to go home. Because they trusted the wrong person. 2 months later, Torres got news. Rashid al-Maliki had been transferred to Iraqi custody for trial. 6 weeks after that, he escaped during a prison transfer. Vanished. Some say he fled to Syria. Others say he's still in Iraq. Still fighting. Torres doesn't know. What he does know is this: the ghost was real. The phantom was among them. And for 3 years he won. Until one sergeant decided to pay attention to the small things. The coffee. The newspaper. The smile that never quite reached the eyes. In war, the enemy isn't always in front of you. Sometimes he's sitting across from you at breakfast. Serving your food. Learning your routine. Waiting for the perfect shot.